Reading with her family was a rich source for the stories of mystery, fantasy, and odyssey that would inspire Jennifer Hancock's writing.
I was a just voracious reader. My parents read to me a lot. My dad read the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit. And I started writing really early. I wrote little stories, I wrote little poems, plays.
She was impressed by her father's work as an advertising copywriter, and she was terrified and thrilled by her mother's telling of some grim fairy tales.
My mother was very convinced that the end of the world was near. Sometimes it would take the form of something quite religious. My mother was concerned about the Russians as well, and aliens. So at a very early age, I started dreaming. I would have repeated, nightmares with the same theme, that the end of the world had happened.
Every hurricane season of her childhood on the Texas coast, when the end seemed to be impending, Jennifer found some redemption in the creative act of plotting the approaching storms with their female names.
By my birthday in early summer, the grocery bags at Kroger's were printed with maps of the Caribbean and the Gulf, grid-marked with longitude and latitude lines. Bonnie and I abandoned coloring books for these, kept careful key of the storms we charted. We crisscrossed the ocean, giving each newly named storm a color of her own. Flamboyant disco colors or deep ocean hues, anything that would stand out against the bag's brown. It was usually the same male voice each night, calling their names and positions as if he knew their faces, as if he could bring them right inside our bedroom and dance with them. I thought he meant he loved them all. I thought their names said it all. It meant women could misbehave and still be beautiful.
When her family emigrated to the other end of the earth, she discovered a writer's wealth of places that were exotic and poetic.
Once we moved to Australia, my parents' income had gone up, and we did get to travel quite a bit. Everywhere you go, there are little, for me, I guess mostly images that were tied up with stories.
There she became aware of the way Australia's Aboriginal people were exterminated, and it guided her future writing into a new existential and spiritual dimension.
What happens to a place when the gods, the beliefs, when those beliefs just no longer exist in the place? I think I wondered, what happens to the gods themselves? So I wrote a poem about that.
Even in her poems about cataclysmic disasters like Hurricane Katrina or the Great Mississippi Flood of 1927, she's attuned to both the social upheaval and the very human suffering.
The thing that cracks the soul. A National Guardsman kept brothers apart at the point of a rifle. One, a refugee on the levee, the other swimming to a roof. And who's to say he wasn't just as scared, not of looters, but of the exodus to Chicago and Detroit that would follow the flood, the fury of the plantation owners, state senators, governors. So they kept thousands of sharecroppers trapped on the levees, waiting for the water to go back to where it came from, hoping the cotton would dry out.
What hurts us are the little daily apocalypses. It's the death of a parent, it's the breakup of a marriage, illness, your body breaking down, it's these other things. So that's the genesis of the book.
Which was brought to life through the best possible collaborative process between Jennifer and her publishers, Danny Rosen and Kyle Harvey, at the Lithic Press and Bookstore, a mecca for Colorado poets.
It was the last piece of the puzzle that I think I needed to feel completely at home here. To have this bookstore that is tied to a publisher, that they're producing work, they're producing beautiful books. Danny said repeatedly that he wants a book to be a work of art by itself, as well as a collection of words. And then with Kyle Harvey, in terms of the artwork that went into the book, you can't overstate the gift that is to a writer to be able to have any input into what the cover looks like or to what font you use or anything like that. and I had quite a bit of input, and it was amazing.
And Between Hurricanes is a revelation, beginning with its first picture of the poet as a child, already posed and poised for a potential ending.
And so I'm ready for the apocalypse. Should it happen on that marina on that day, I have Canteen and I have a teddy bear.
But for now, she's safe at home in western Colorado, where she's settled into a calm center of the world's whirlwind.
It's not coastal and there's really not a lot of weather going on. It still feels like the sort of epicenter of my life, the eye, I guess.